Math with Patty, and today I'm talking about sign numbers. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, sign numbers. Sign numbers means negative and positive numbers. As you can see, I'm dressed very warm today. I live in the north, and so I like to think of temperature when I'm working with sign numbers, adding and subtracting some sign numbers. Look at my thermometer. Here is 0. Anything above 0 and above is a positive number. Anything below 0 is a negative number. So let's just figure this out. If today is minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit, it's minus 30 below 0, right? So it would be minus 30. Let's say that we got a south wind and the temperature rose 45 degrees. If it went up 45 degrees, how warm would it be? Let's figure it out. 45 degrees. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. It would be 15 degrees above 0. We can do the same by using our math operation. 45 minus 30 will give us a positive 15 degrees. So if the temperature did rise 45 degrees, I would be hot. And so I took my scarf off. Now we're at 15 degrees. Let's say a north wind comes in. It's blowing quite hard. It drops the temperature 20 degrees. So that would be a minus 20, correct? And then nighttime comes, and it drops the temperature even more. Another 20 degrees, so minus 20. Now we have a problem that you may have seen when in algebra. It's called a sign number problem. You're at 15 degrees, you drop 20, 5, 10, 15, 20, you're going to be at a minus 5. If you drop minus 20 more, 5, 10, 15, 20, you're going to be at a minus 25. And that is what is the answer. So now let's convert this into a sign number problem. Let's say you have a negative 6 and a negative 7. Your answer will just be a negative 13, because think of the thermometer. You're already starting at 6 below, you go down another 7 degrees, you're going to be at still a negative 13. That's how you subtract sign numbers. Now if the sign number, if you're adding and subtracting sign numbers, your answer will be negative if the negative number is larger than the positive number. Let's go over that again. When you're adding and subtracting sign numbers together, you have a negative, you have a positive. Look at the negative number. Is the negative number larger? Yes, it's larger than 3. So you know that the sign you're going to have is negative. And then it becomes a simple subtraction problem. If you have minus 6, thinking of the thermometer, and it gets 3 degrees warmer, you're going to be at a negative 3. The only way that I can explain multiplying two negative numbers together is this way. Take this toy truck, for example. When we push it backwards, that's negative. And the wheels are turning backwards, that's negative. So two negatives, when we let it go, it goes forward, is a positive. So let's just use our imagination a minute. Suppose that you're pushing it back 2 feet. That would be minus 2. And the wheels are rotating around 6 times backwards. That would be times a negative 6. So negative 2 times a negative 6. When you release it, it flies forward 12 feet. That would be a positive 12. So if you can think of two negative numbers multiplied together always equal a positive. Maybe that will help you. Now, from the truck experience, we see that minus 2 times minus 6 equals a positive 12. The same would carry over in division. If we're dividing, the divisor is a negative 2. We know then that the quotient, the answer, has to be negative in order to produce a positive number here. Two numbers multiplied together, remember, in division makes a positive, and so the answer is negative 6. Now, another way to remember when we're multiplying by positive and negative is, how many here have ever gone to a party and somebody really negative comes in? One negative person in a party of 12 is going to make the whole party negative. Have you ever experienced that? So now let's take this multiplication problem and do the opposite, divide. Negative 12 is the dividend. The divisor is 12. If this is a negative answer, you know that the quotient, or the answer, has to be negative, correct? Because a negative times a positive equals a negative. So negative times a positive equals negative 12. That two negative numbers multiplied together equals a positive number. We can know that the opposite is true for division. We know now that one negative number multiplied together with a positive number makes the answer negative. But what if you have three negative numbers? Negative 2 times negative 2 times a negative 3. Then what will the answer be? We have negative times negative equals a positive. We already talked about that. Remember the truck example. Now we have a positive times a negative equals a negative. So a way that I encourage you to think is an even number is positive. Think about a blind date. If you were on a blind date, you'd only want to go out with one person, right? That would be positive. You wouldn't want a third person to come along. An odd number on a date would be negative. So think about it that way. Odd numbers are negative when multiplying and dividing. Now